All right, let's see what we got. Good morning, Ryan and Luke. Good morning, Kwaku. Good to see you. Good morning, Mark. And then
Good morning.
I think Mark's jumping devices. We got you, Mark. I just got you there.
Yeah, I'm switching.
Anybody up? I got you. Mr. Cruz, good to see you, man. And if Kelly's there, good morning to her as well. Good morning, Renee. Good morning, Christy. Salazar, good morning. It looks like you're on 2 devices as well. Reggie, good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Good morning. And I think I got everybody. Tariq, I wasn't ignoring you when you said good morning earlier. I was trying to wrap up a phone call. So good morning to you. I was talking to a recruit. All right, let's get this party started. So Amy, you know I'll be jumping back and forth with you. Before we get started, is there anything administratively? Because I'll get to the end and completely forget to ask you. Nothing so far? Fantastic. I know you'll cut me off here in a minute, and I'm good with it. So, all right, guys. So finally, for those of you guys that want ZipRecruiter ads, I put them on, I put it on our Slack line. And so those of you guys that have messaged back to me, they will start February 1st. I am going to build those late in the midnight hour this weekend so that they can be sent over to Zip so that they're written correctly. They have to be written a certain way. They have to have certain things in them or Zip will kick them out. So we'll get that taken care of. But it's $50 per slot. A slot is a city: Cape Girardeau, Jackson, St. Louis, Kansas City, Independence, Chicago, whatever. And I've been meeting with them a couple of times to get through kind of how their algorithms work. So those ads will be moved around so that they continue to bring people in for you. All right. So we are on here for the onboarding process for those of us that are recruiting, which is pretty cool because we got 17 people in this meeting. That means a lot of you guys are looking to build an agency, which is pretty fantastic. And Eric Schmidt, I don't know if you guys have seen that or not. Tim, have you had an opportunity to meet Eric?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you have, Mark, or anybody else. Really nice guy. I know he was in St. Louis a couple times doing some business development meetings and all that. Just got his partnership. And even though this is on recording, I know I can say this because this has been made public. But for those of you guys that are wanting, not everybody on here cares about an integrity partnership or wants to be an integrity partner. But from what I found out the other day, guys, these integrity partnerships at minimum are $7 million. So I know a lot of us probably go and buy a lottery ticket once a week or so. You're holding one in your hands right now, literally, which is pretty nuts. And if they start at 7 million, depends on how big your agency is, it's 7 million and up. So Tim says this all the time, and it makes perfect sense. In a matter of 4 years, what it would take you to get a college degree, you could have a $7 million plus deal. Got to go to work somewhere, or may as well do it for yourself, right? So that's what we're holding on to right here. So pretty exciting to see we have 17 people on here that want to do that.
Yeah, because you don't have to go to college for 4 years and learn how to be broke and then be in debt. Here, man, you can have it wrapped up with a fat check.
Exactly. And it keeps coming, right? That's the beautiful
right.
thing about it. So I know some of you guys are going to Road to Integrity. I can't actually make that I think it's on the 20th. So if anybody's interested in that, I'm sure we could get you squeezed in if you're trying to build an agency. Road to Integrity, you go there, you meet with Sean and a couple of other, people. I'm sure they have current integrity partners talk there. And it's about the structure of what it takes. I believe it's about the structure of what it takes to actually get an integrity partnership. So if you're interested in that, reach out. I'm sure we can get you in there. So what we're going to cover this morning over the next, 15, 20 minutes is our process, our onboarding process. When you're effectively bringing people on, we now have our own link now with Excel. So you'll be able to, any recruits that you have, you'll be able to see real time what they're doing. So if you have a recruiter, somebody that's in the process that started last Friday, moving forward, and you don't have that link, just send me a Slack. Just put Excel in the Slack and I will send you the link. You literally can go in, log in, and see exactly when your new teammate has logged into the system and how far they're in the process. So it's a great way to have conversations with them and move them through the process faster. We had this when I was at a practice company. We had access to that, and it really did help move people through the process because it gave you a reason to reach, a positive reason to reach out to them. And then you can separate the real from the fake with that as well. So let's see a couple other quick notes. WebCE, I know we talk about this on a weekly basis. When you bring a new agent on, they have to go through, with Prosperity, they do have to go through Prosperity's AML, which is anti-money laundering. But if you do WebCE, all the other companies, as of right now, they recognize WebCE. It'll take you 15, 20 minutes, or take your new agent 15, 20 minutes. We've seen the price anywhere from $9.50 up to $15. It's worth it to be able to do that and just be completely done. So that is for AML and Web CE. So what we're going to cover today, for those of you guys that might be your first time on here, is the recruiting and onboarding process. And again, it's exciting to see so many of you guys on here, because as you're bringing new agents on, the more you're on this meeting, the more you're going to understand the process. I know there's several of you that have been on here, and then you get a new agent and the spotlight shines on you and you go, holy crap, what was I supposed to do now? That's why this meeting is so important. So we're going to cover the process, the website, how you can get your own link to send the videos out. I think Brandy just did that for the first time the other day, and now she has a recruit that we're going to be interviewing today, which I'm really excited about. We'll talk about prosperity very quickly, and there was a wrinkle to prosperity that I'll show you guys today, which I think it was Renee that found that, or whatever, but we'll get through that. Slack, making sure that you're getting your people into Slack, E&O, Bootcamp, and WorkSpots, because we just covered AML. All right, I'm going to pause for 2 seconds. Amy, anything? Am I missing anything so far? Okay, very good. All right, let's get this party started. So our process, this goes out to every agent in their onboarding. So please, guys, if you haven't had a chance to read through this, Slack, Amy and I were happy to send this out to you. You would have gotten
every agent, just licensed.
Well, I understand. Yeah, I was getting ready to go there. But thank you for cutting me off. I appreciate it. See, I know she does it every time. She keeps me straight, you guys. But what happens, guys, is this literally will take them through every step of the process of what they have to do. And the problem is nobody reads this. That's the problem. Nobody reads it. There's literally pictures in it that walks you through what to do to get go through the process. So please take a look at this. You're going to help your agent get through the process quicker and get them writing business faster. So please take a look at this for your licensed agents.
And,
Thank you,
and as I usually explain about that document, it's not a book. Like, we don't need to read it front to back to understand it. We need to go step by step. It's okay to read through it, but that's an instruction manual. That's how to put something together, not a story. So start at the beginning, go through the end, work through it step by step. It can be overwhelming if you read it, but if you just go step by step and take it one thing at a time, it won't seem as overwhelming.
One of the things that we're, Amy and I are working, we were talking about probably last week, probably going to take about a month or so to put the platform together, is, I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we're definitely going to try to make it easier, is putting a step by step. Reggie's asking where that packet is. Amy, if you could send that to Reggie Calhoun. Reggie, we got you. A step-by-step process in video, where we break it down in steps in video. So if people maybe don't want to read through that, they have a video that you guys can send them the link, and they can literally watch a 1 or 2 minute video on each section of this. So of course that's going to take time. It's going to take some revenue, but I think that's another thing that we want to try, because if we can get people writing business quicker and they get money in their hands, they're more apt to stay because they're making money, right? And they're helping families. So that's one of the things that's going to be, I guess that's in our, parking lot right now. That is going to happen. All right. So you are.
Question.
Sure. Yeah.
Going back to the onboarding packet that you guys just talked about. When do you get that? Do you get that when you fill out the onboarding form online on FFL Genesis? Did that automatically generate, or how does that? When you...
Amy?
I send it with the welcome emails. So if I do your welcome emails, that's when I send it for licensed only. If they're not licensed, they just get a regular welcome email without the document. And then when they pass their test and I get their NPN, or you get their NPN and put them into HCMS, then you would send them that document. So if you give it to a non-licensed agent, they're just going to be confused. And there's so much more that they need to be doing just to pass the test. So if they're licensed up front, give it to them with the welcome email. If they are not licensed and get licensed, give it to them when they get licensed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Great question. I'm glad you brought that up, Gregory. Great question. Thank you, Amy, for covering that. So you guys, once you have your agent, we try to do this in steps so it doesn't get confusing. Once your agent passes their exam, you need to let Amy and I know right away once they get their NPN number and after they've applied for their license. because what that does is that's what sparks that second email that Amy is talking about that goes out with instructions to get started. Okay, so the first one is just going to be, here's the information to go to Ffl, here's the discount code that we now have and all that kind of stuff, and then to make it free, walk them through that process, and then everything else from there. Once they pass the exam, you're going to Slack Amy and I, hey, John Smith passed his exam, here's his NPN number, and then you've entered him. If you haven't hired Amy, then you're gonna have to go out there and put them into HCMS and go from there. Does that help, Gregory, or anybody else?
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, very welcome. All right, so you've talked to said agent, and they've decided that they want to, or let me take a step back here. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, you guys should be able to see my screen now. All right, most of you guys have seen this before, so I'll move through this quickly. If you guys have any questions, just tell me to back up. But I do think the rote process of this is good. So you're dealing with an agent and somebody that's interested or potentially interested, you can send them a video, okay? For instance, you can see right here on our recruiting or on our regular website, view our opportunity. I'm gonna come over here to our recruiting website. If some of you guys have built your own websites, I think that's great if that's what you want to do, or you can use ours. So if that person fills out the form, which I'm going to show you here in just a second, they fill out that form and they put your name in there, that you are the person that sent them here, I will forward that information over to you, and then we can set up a time where I will assist with the interview. Now, I'm more than happy to do every interview that we have. I'm happy to do that, but I do ask if I'm going to do an interview that you are there. Because after a while, you'll get the practice. It's not complicated at all. And I'll even sit down with you guys virtually or whatever and go through the interview process and practice it with you, and then give you all the slides to do that if you guys would like me to. There is a science to hiring where you don't give the job away. There really is. So here's our website, Join FFL Genesis. You guys can send people out to this. We now have a QR code. If you guys don't know what that is, you can literally email somebody a link or text it to them or whatever. They just take a picture of it and we'll take them directly here. So you can use that on marketing stuff or whatever you want to do. But out here, here's the video, right where it says view our opportunity. It's going to take you to a link. You can see my name's at the top of it. If I were to click get access, and this person is going to type their name in here. I got to learn how to spell my own name, right? That's probably the starters. All right, I'll go ahead and stay in Alabama.
Alabama lost. They want to go to Georgia.
Gregory, I was waiting for you to say something. I'm like, I just teed it up for you.
I got to be quiet. I'm from Michigan.
I'll,
Michigan got blew out, so I just got to be quiet. I just live in Georgia.
You live there now, so. You guys,
40 years still a long time.
So your new candidate will hit the button, and what happens is it's going to send an email to you letting you know that said candidate has actually put their information in. I'm going to show you that here in a second. But at the top, you can see my name, my email address, and phone numbers up there. By the way, if you somehow lose your link or something like that, you can very easily come back out here and just read it and reset it up. Okay, I'm going to show you that here in just a second. Then that person will come out here and watch the video. At the end of the video, if they decide that they want to come on, or you give them, the video is about 16, 17 minutes, reach out to them after that time and then see if they're interested because they actually watched the video. Now, what should have happened is I should have received, and there it is. There's all the information I just put in. So just that quick, your candidate's information will be put out there. And then, like I said, you'll get an email and you can reach out to them. Pretty simple stuff. Does anybody have any questions about that as we move forward? All right, pretty cool. So here's the deal. I'm actually going to get out of that. If you wanted to create that link for yourself, where it will show your name, your email address, your contacts and all that, you simply come out here to the FFL Genesis site. The only difference between these two sites is Join FFL Genesis and then our agent site, which is FFL Genesis with all of your resources and everything. So out here where it says best business ever, custom rogue IMO link on the top left-hand side. If I click on that and put my information in, so this is what I was talking about. If you lose your code or something like that, doesn't matter. You can come back out here and regenerate it and it doesn't affect the other one. All right. I don't know what my problem is today. I can't type. All right. This doesn't matter. So, all right. I'm going to hit submit. I guess I need to put a real phone number in there. Moving too fast. So what this is going to do is this is going to generate a code. It's going to generate another code for me that I can copy and paste. Now, I'm not going to do it right now for time's sake, but if any of you guys are interested, I can show you how to generate or go to GoDaddy. If you have another web developer or whatever place that you use, but you can create a link like the one that you guys use today to log into this meeting. I bought for $2 or $3. I bought a Win with FFL Genesis and dropped this link for the agent registration into that. So it's very easy for you guys to log into our Zoom page. So I'm stalling just a second just to give that time to generate. And there it is. So there's the code. So that's the code that I dropped into the link. That's the code that I dropped into the link for you guys to be able to do that. Does anybody have any questions about that? All right. So you can see it's long and it's got all ampersands and equal signs and all that kind of stuff in there. That looks a little weird when you send that to somebody. But if you get a URL, couple bucks, Below Insurance Agency or whatever the heck, whatever you want to call it, you can go from there. All right. Anybody have any questions there? I know we've gone through this a couple of times. I just want to make sure everybody understands what we got here. All right, perfect. While I'm already on here, licenses. So if you are someone that has people in multiple states or you are wanting to get non-residence license, this is whoever created this at home office, I would hug them if I saw them. If I click on state license requirements, it's literally going to tell you what to do in all 50 states to get licensed. So literally you can come out here, copy the link for that particular state and send it to your candidate what they need to do. Again, I highly recommend that you take a peek at it because most people don't read things for whatever reason. They just want you to tell them, but just want you to know what resources you have here to do that. The other thing is E&O, air and emissions. Yes, you have to have E&O. I've never, knock on wood, in 23 years ever had to use air and emissions insurance, and neither will you. But it is something that you have to have in place. I think who we're tied up with here at FFL, whatever company it is, I can't remember at this point in time, but the premium is very inexpensive. Great coverage, $1 million up in coverage, but it's right here on our site. You can simply click on that, fill out the information, get your E&O coverage and your certificate. And I probably shouldn't have to say this, guys, please save your certificates because you don't think you're going to need it. And then you're going to apply for another carrier and you will. And then you're gonna have to either try to go through the gauntlet of finding out who you got your coverage through and all that. Just if you use an iPad, just save it in your books and you'll always have it there. Any questions about E&O? Get that wiped out and out of the way. All right, so let's go back here very quickly. HCMS, we probably don't talk about this enough, but we've put these videos out here. Guys, some of these videos are 2 minutes long. If you're having some issues with HCMS, just come out here, click on it, watch the video, try to educate yourself, especially if you're going to be bringing people on so that you can walk them through the process. That's why we put this meeting together, to make sure you guys understand where your resources are. All right. Adding a carrier, I think that video is like 46 or 47 seconds. So we want you guys to make sure you guys understand what resources you have. All right. So as we move through this very quickly, you guys see all the other stuff. I'm not going to go over that right now because it's not pertinent, but you get your new person, they've gone through the stuff, they've watched the video, they said they're ready to rock and roll. Now you have to complete the onboarding form. So I know we get this question on a weekly basis. When do we do this? You do this as soon as possible. This is really the first true thing you're doing to get that person onboarded and brought onto our organization, right? So here's what happens with this, just so you guys know what's going on behind the curtain. John Smith comes on. John Smith was recruited by Michael Salazar. Michael's going to come out here. You are not sending this link to John Smith or your agent. Michael's going to come out here and he's going to get all of John Smith's information. Now, what I've done, you guys, is save the information that I need as a contact on my phone. So all I have to do, so I don't forget, when I get somebody started and I get them onto Slack, that's the first real message I'm going to Slack them so they get used to using Slack, is the information I need for them to get started. Okay. First name, full middle name, last name, date of birth, street, city, state, zip, phone number, email, if they're licensed or not, because that makes a difference for Amy. If you are if Amy is working with you. And then their primary state, I know we've had this a little bit, whatever state they're going to be selling in or they're going to be taking their test in, that's their primary state. Sometimes we have people that are going to be moving and all that kinds of stuff. If they are not licensed in the MPN section, just put NA. That's all you need to do. And then the new agents commission. Hold on a second, guys. I think I got kicked out there. All right. The new agents commission. And then your information, your first name, last name, your upline phone, your phone number, etc. Once you hit submit, that information comes to back to the back office for Amy and I, and we get you entered into the contacts, and then that lets Amy know what email to send out to your agent if she's doing that for you. Does anybody have any questions about that? It's really simple. And then what happens is once we get the form, typically we'll email it out to you so you have a clean copy of your agents so that you can track that. And then that's where the magic happens of us starting to get them into the process. All right. Doesn't sound like you guys have any questions there. All right. So let me cover one more thing here on the website really quickly, the recruiting website, and then we'll be done with this. So the overviews, you can send somebody out here. Once we get MedSups, I'll have that put out here as well. There's the Ffl overview, the products we provide, term, whole life, universal, and annuities, how we do it. So there's a couple videos that walk through how we do our process, compensation, right? Sean talking about our bonus. We have some people that want to do telesales and virtual. And I'm going to give a shout out to Brian for kind of taking the bull by the horns and not selling that way. And I think, Brian, I think your last 12 or 13 have either been Zoom or telesales. So that's not easy to do. And it's not easy to transition to that as well. So I tip my hat to you for digging in. You've obviously been watching videos. So congratulations to you. But we go through the virtual process here. If somebody's interested in doing that, of course, we have some podcast videos out here. And then this is the section that I was talking about, joining the team. So if they come on here and put their name, their email address, and inside the box, they put your name, we'll reach back out to them, make sure that you know that. And because it comes in a form, and then we'll get the form out to you, and then we can set up an interview from there. Does anybody have any questions about that before we move forward?
Yes, I'm sorry. How did you get to that right there? How did you get, where is that located?
Join fflgenesis.com.
Okay.
Join fflgenesis.com. So leadership and I put this together so that you guys didn't have the expense of having to create a website. And we know that websites legitimize things. That's why we did it. So it's all mobile friendly. It'll look nice on a phone, iPad, Android device, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? Thank you. All right. Let me go ahead and click off of this because we got so many windows and stuff open. All right. So far we've covered the websites, commission levels. So if you're going to be, which you're running your own business here, you're running your own show. If you want to cover if you're going to buy somebody leads and that kind of stuff to help them get started, guys, 15 or 20% is kosher. It is. One of the things I do is once somebody hits, if it's a newer agent and that kind of stuff, once they hit 20, their first 15, 20,000, then I'll, bump them up 5% once they do that. At that point, if you sold 15,000, you've probably set with probably 50 people. At that point, you guys want to get to 100 as quick as you can. And at that point, you've seen pretty much probably 75, 80% of what you're going to see on a normal basis. And if you're doing that, that means you're committed to this, in my opinion. So that's why I do that with my people that I'm working directly with up to bumping them up. You do what you feel necessary, but 15, 20% is kosher to get people started. And I think that's what most of us are doing here. If you guys don't have any additional questions there, we'll move forward. Slack. I'm going to go over Slack just very, very briefly, very, very briefly. So when you guys get people that are, when you're getting people that are getting started and you're getting ready to get going, guys, please enter them in Slack. Just do it right then when you're having a conversation with them. Because if you don't, trying to add them later, and I say this all the time, and then Amy's trying to find them, and then she's emailing them, they don't know who she is, it goes to their spam. I know a lot of us don't like Slack. I'm not a huge proponent of it, but it is what we use, and we need to keep track of what's going on with it. This is the only way. I might respond to you one-off on a text, but a lot of times if you guys text me, I'm going to respond back to you in Slack. because then I know I get a bunch of goofy texts from people and stuff. Sometimes it's just me, and it gets lost in the shuffle. I'll get 10 or 15 texts and yours gets buried. But if it's in Slack, I come out here, I can see your name. So like Jeremy, I know I need to reach back out to this new candidate because he messaged me this morning. All right. So just keep that in mind. Just get them set up on Slack. Now, very quickly, because I know not everybody's done that, it's not difficult to do. If you're in we're a subgroup of Velocity. If you guys don't know who Velocity is the big team. 31, 32 million, whatever Velocity and Dave did last year. Pretty phenomenal year for them. But down at the bottom, as long as you're in the Velocity thread, you can see up in the top left-hand corner, you can see the Velocity logo. You're simply going to go add teammates down at the bottom, and then you can either send them an email or you can share the link down at the bottom where it says share your link. If you click on that, all you have to do is put their phone number in there and send it to them. Now, all of you guys are on Slack, so you know it's not a difficult process. Sometimes some systems don't talk, but for the most part, it's pretty easy. Add them to Slack. Once you've done that, then you have to come out here and add them to the actual Genesis group. And at that point, all you got to do is come down here, add people, click add people, find them on there, click them, and then they're in there. Typically, when we have a new person come on, you guys know that we'll, put a welcome out there and those kind of things. We've gotten much better as a team of when we have somebody come onto the group of actually welcoming them on. I think some days are better than others, but think about that. If you were starting a new opportunity and you came on and 10 or 15 people patted you on the back and said, welcome to the team, it means a lot. I can tell you that because I've had people tell me that. So any questions on Slack, any questions on how to add someone, talk to your business partner. I'm happy to walk through this with you guys as well, but it's not complicated at all. And it makes a lot of sense from a recruiting and onboarding standpoint to get them on Slack now. If you wait, you're going to have problems. Just telling you from experience, you guys. Don't wait. Get them on as soon as possible. All right. So at this point, we've covered the websites, we've covered comp, we've covered Slack, we've covered E&O, we've covered AML, WorkSpots. So WorkSpots, if you guys are not familiar with what WorkSpots
Excuse me,
is.
Corey. I'm sorry.
Yes. No, you're good. Answer that over here.
Do you add people on Slack before the interviews or after the interviews? Like, what's that time? How? Because you say as soon as possible. So, what's
Great
as soon
question.
as possible?
Fantastic question. So, what I would do, this is just me. If I have an interview with them, I would not add them before the interview because we don't know if they're actually going to start or not, right? Or if you're going to hire. Right. But once you go through the interview process with them and you have either virtually fist bumped or you're there face to face and you shake hands and they say they're coming on, that is literally the first thing I do. I add them on Slack before I get their information to put them onto the onboarding form.
Okay.
And if we've had a big day, big week, or you've had, Michael, you're on here, aren't you? I maybe call
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Did that? I'm messing with you. When we interviewed your guy, I'm not going to say his name, but when we interviewed your guy yesterday, and I was able to come out here and show him, he was very impressed that you were number one. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So, guys, I use this stuff to sell people on. And if you're on here or on the leaderboard or you just did something big, I will show them stuff because it just gives you credibility. I don't know one interview that I do is the same. I'm talking to them and I'm listening for their cues and their hot buttons of what's going to interest them. And if you've had a big week or whatever the case is, I'm going to feature the heck out of you. And the guy was really impressed. He's like, dang, Michael, that's crazy, man. And then I started pumping him up and, all this other stuff. So That's what we use this for. And if you get your people on here as quick as possible, some people get intimidated by this, but other people see this and go, and especially if they've seen some of us on some meetings, I've literally had people go, that guy did $7,000 in a week.
Wow. Right.
People do it. I'm telling you. And if they're competitive, they want to be a part of this. If they have that competitive spirit, this means something to people. I don't care who you are. You might not be a big time glam person or whatever the case is. By the way, I kicked all you guys' butts yesterday. But I don't care if you're a glam person or not. One of those things, everybody wants to be recognized for doing a good job. That's why we put this together. All right. Does that help, Randy?
Yes. Thank you.
Perfect. You're very welcome. Glad you're asking questions. Sometimes I feel alone on here, Randy. So thank you for asking. No, I'm kidding around. But let's see, where were we at? So, boot camp. I think boot camp is starting to be the lost art, if you will. We don't hear much about it anymore. And I know a lot of people don't do it. I'm telling you, I'm a huge proponent of boot camp. When your new agent has completed their licensing, some states take longer than others. Some states they have to get fingerprinted. Have them complete the boot camp. It's going to help you, and here's why. 50% of what they need to know, they're going to see in boot camp. 50%, which means they're 50% further ahead than the person that didn't complete boot camp. So I highly recommend you guys have your people go through the boot camp. It's just going to help them. At the end of the boot camp, at the end of it, they will, I think it's in the first video, but I think it's leads@fflusa.com or whatever it is. Once you complete it, as long as it's done within 2 weeks from you starting, you get a 30% discount off your first lead order through the CRM. So just keep that in mind too. And that's an incentive to sell to, to your new agent. Does anybody have any questions about boot camp? All right. WorkSpots. I'm going to cover this very quickly. WorkSpots, it's $99 a month. It gets you access into over 250 offices across the country. I think that's the official number I found out the other day. So over 250 offices across the United States. Printing, you're able to print there. You're able to meet other people. I know we had a guy, Bailey Jaber, who comes into our office about once a month. So Colorado, you guys, he wrote $13,000 yesterday, right here in St. Louis. Now, full transparency, he ain't using all the same leads we're using. He's got a bunch of counties locked out with direct mail, but he's still doing the work. He's making the calls. And Michael can confirm this. He set 31 appointments on Monday in our office.
Yeah, that's 100% right.
Yeah, 31 appointments. So here's the deal, though. He's doing some things differently than we are. So sometimes some people don't want to go into offices or you feel intimidated by it. I can tell you for me, that $99 that people spend when they come into the office is probably some of the best $100 they spend in a month if you're coming into the office. And here's why. I know for Tim's daughter, Mariana, it made a big difference for her going into the office. And not only that, she got to be around an integrity partner and see how things go there. And it made a big difference in her career here. I know that for a fact. It's also cool when we're here in the office in St. Louis, we have people coming from all over the country here. And we get to find out sometimes and pull the curtain back what other organizations are doing. Guys, we've only been here a year. There's things that we just don't know because it hasn't been shown to us yet, but we're figuring it out. And that speeds up the process. It really does. That's why you guys hear us talking so much about direct mail now, because we're not going to hide anything or hold anything back from you guys. Direct mail circumvented with the CRM is the way to go. That's what we're seeing from all the top producers and top performers. That's why you keep hearing us talk about it. So not only that, you get the discounts through National Rental Car, all of it. I mean, it's the best night from a business perspective here, in my opinion, it's the best $99 you can spend a month with the discounts, being around other people in the office, being around high level producers, because you just never know what you're going to catch when you're talking to them. And most of them are willing to talk to you. Any questions about WorkSpots? Perfect. All right, a couple more things and then we'll let you guys roll. Amy, anything so far? Have I anything I missed that I need to cover so far?
Nope, not yet.
All right, you only got me one time today, so that's good. All right, so very quickly, you guys, here are the instructions with Prosperity. They actually did change something on here. I'm not going to cover it in major detail, but what was changed, guys, was step number 5. Where it says click the product prime term SUSA. We don't really offer that product because it's a guaranteed issue product. And if you were going to offer that, you may as well go AIG or Great Western. So now what you're going to do when you go out there, you're just going to leave the box blank. Okay. So if any of you guys want this information, just simply let us know or Slack me and Amy, and we'll send literally this entire segment here. We'll send out to you. Okay, so I'm going to cover this yes, sir.
That other bit changed where you have to enter it in now.
Yeah. I'm going to walk through that here very quickly. Thank you, Renee. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm glad you pointed this out to me the other day because I did not know that because all my codes are set up. So let me take a half step back. Thanks again, Renee. When you guys are new and you have somebody that's getting started, you have to send, this is the only carrier as of now that you have to send out. You have to send this Prosperity link out to them. Okay, because if you don't, they won't get it. That's the first thing. The second thing is you have what I'm getting ready to show you. What we're getting ready to show you now, you actually have to go through the process to get this set up. Now, Anti-money laundering, we talked about that about 20 minutes ago. They have to complete a separate AML or anti-money laundering for Prosperity. All it is videos, takes about 20, 25 minutes. You watch the videos, you click through their little quizzes, and at the end of it, you hit the button, you have your certificate with Prosperity. Okay, pretty simple stuff. So what I'm going to do is go over 2 things on here, and then I'm actually going to click on the link and walk you through just a quick steps of this. So let's just go to 135. So family first, 135%. If you're at 135, your compensation with Prosperity is 120. Okay, just so you guys understand that. Where you see 6.75 because Prosperity's whole life, you're going to get 6.75% of the annualized premium year 2 through 5. Year 6 through 10, you're going to get 3.75%. And then after 10 years, it stops paying. Does anybody have any questions about that? And if you do, it's not a stupid question. Okay, perfect. In reference to the advance, the 9-month advance, that's the 75% advance that you guys get on all the carriers except for a few, okay? Great Western, AIG. So the 9-month advance equals 75%. Now, keep in mind, the most they will advance for one sale is $3,000. So you go out and you help a family, it's $500 a month, that'd be $6,000 a year, right? What you're gonna get when they pay you is gonna be $3,000. Once that client has paid in, which would basically be 6 payments, and they've covered your first advance, then Prosperity will start to send you the rest of the advance monthly. And the cool part about that is you're kind of starting to build your residuals, I guess, at that point as well. So they're doing that just so you guys know. I'm sure you'd be like, hey, I want all my money, but they're doing that to protect you so that you're going to get clobbered with, if they were to cancel the policy, you don't get hit with a gigantic chargeback. I'm sure that makes sense to everybody. All right, so very quickly, I'm going to go ahead and hit insurance admin, and it's going to take us out to their site. Yes, it says benchmark administration. I know that might seem a little bit weird. I don't know why they have it set up this way, but they do. I'm going to click sign in. I'm going to log into their site very quickly. And then what I'm going to show you is when you come out here, for whatever reason, sometimes your site will look like this. Sometimes it'll look a little different. Up at the very top left-hand corner where you see contracting, I'm going to click on that, and then you're going to see it's going to say invitation codes. If it does not say invitation code and your screen looks like mine, you still have the contracting link right there in the center of the screen. They work the same. If you don't have the blue contacting link in the center of the screen and it doesn't say invitation codes on there, then you're going to have to call Prosperity to get that fixed. There's nothing that we can do administratively, myself or leadership, to help out with that. All right. So if I were to pull up the other screen, in the top left-hand corner, I'm just going to drag it all the way to the top, where you see in parentheses, it says FFL 100%. If you go to the right, it says products. It says New Vista 85%. Okay. So that 85% is what you will actually get comped out if you're at 100% with FFL. That's a mouthful. 5% right next to that, that is year 2 through 5. And the 2% is year 6 through 10. If you keep moving to the right under notes, advanced 9 months at 3,000 at settle, vested immediately. That's huge that you're vested immediately. That means you're going to get all of your money when you're supposed to, and the company's not going to keep it. And in reference to the contracting link or email, if you click email, it's going to send your new agent, your new teammate, the link that they need to fill out the information under the 100% tier. If you click the green button, it's just going to give you the link, and then you can copy and paste it into your email and send out to your new agent. So you can see all the codes that I have set up. Now, here's what Renee and I were talking about just a moment ago. And here's the steps. I'm not going to go through all of them, but here's the steps where you have to actually go through and put the information in. Is everybody still good at this point? So I'm going to show you one more thing, and then we'll move on from here. Okay. Oh, yeah. So right here at the top, where it says FFL 100, you can see 105, 110, etc. That's where I'm going to put this code at. So that's how I know which code it is that I'm going to send to my new agent when they come on. So if this were 100%, FFL 100%, And if I were to hit generate code, well, first of all, I hadn't filled in all the boxes yet, but if I were to have all the boxes filled in and do that and hit generate code, it's going to pop up right up here at the top of the screen, and it's going to look like that. And all I have to do is come out here when I get a new agent and send this to them. Now, Prosperity is not the biggest carrier that we use, but if somebody is serious and they want to get started, they will have, barring there's nothing in their background, they'll have Prosperity within 24 to 48 hours, and they'll be ready to rock and roll and actually start writing business. Just so you know that, while they're waiting for the other carriers, they can't actually start writing business. Tim Belo, when he first got started, didn't have a lot of his carriers, wrote a bunch of paper applications and used Prosperity when he first got started. Didn't he write like 12 grand or something like that, Tim, with like 2 carriers?
Yep.
Yeah. So it can be done. So don't let your new teammates, and a lot of us on here have used that excuse, myself included. I want to wait till I get all my carriers. You don't need them all. If you're if your new agent is really wanting to get started, they can. All right, Amy, anything?
Nope.
All right, perfect. So we're almost done here, guys. Appreciate the questions and stuff today too. It really, really does help. So almost done. Okay, so there are a couple of carriers that Amy has to put into the system for you guys at HCMS. Most of those carriers are pretty ambiguous. We don't use them, or we don't use them a lot. So I'm not even going to cover that. I just want to let you guys know, as carriers are starting to come in, a lot of the times they come in through my email. When I forward them back out to you, I will let you know, hey, Amy's going to put this in the system into HCMS for you, or you have to do it. All right. So what we've covered so far as we get ready to wrap this up, we've talked about the process, the websites. We've talked about commission level, Prosperity, Slack, E&O, Bootcamp, AML, and we've talked about work spots. So just keep that in mind. And then we've talked about Web CE, how that's the one you want to use, because all the carriers recognize that as well. It's very super simple. Now, let's take a step all the way back to the beginning. You get the new agent on board, you're getting them on board, you've shaken hands, you've gone through the interview process, and they're ready to come on board. So what you're going to do at that point is you're going to get their information. Remember, first, middle, full middle, last name, all that information. Okay. You're going to put that into the onboarding form. Let's say this person is not licensed. You're going to put them into the onboarding form. It's going to send it to Amy and I. We're going to forward it back out to you in a PDF format so you have it. Your agent, your new teammate, is then going to get a welcome email if Amy's doing it for you. If you're doing it yourself, you're going to send them the welcome email, and it's going to have the discount code for Excel. Okay. Keep in mind, you want to walk your agent through what they're going to see on Excel. So when I'm doing, most of the interviews I do are virtual. If they're in person, I show them anyway. I go to Excel Solutions and I literally show them. You're going to click on get started, or whatever it is on the left-hand side. You're going to find your state. You're going to click on pre-licensing for life. And then you're going to put the code in there, and you're going to create your username, password, and you're going to start studying. Give them 2 weeks. Give them 2 weeks to get the stuff done. I know we talk about this every week. If they don't get it done in 2 weeks, guys, just move on, because they're not coming, or they're going to come sometime later on down the road. Just move on. 94% of people that don't get it done in 2 weeks never write a piece of business. 94%. So maybe you'll be lucky. I don't know. But if they're not licensed, that's what's going to happen. You're going to send them the email. You're going to give them the 2 weeks to get through. Okay. Any questions there before we cover the last part? Perfect. So this person is licensed. You're going to still get all the information from them, but now you need their NPN number. Okay. You're still going to get the information. You're going to send it through the system. It's going to come into Amy and I. We're going to forward it back out to you. And now, because of what you put on the onboarding sheet, it shows that they're licensed. So what happens now is they're going to get a link from Amy. Amy, jump in at any time, and they're going to complete their information for HCMS. Then they're going to get a second email letting you know that they've completed the information for HCMS. And then in there, they're going to have a link to SuranceBay or SureBay. It's the same thing. Okay. From there, they're only going to complete 3 companies. They're going to see a bunch of them on there, but they're only going to complete 3. Remember, you sent them Prosperity. This is for a licensed person. They're going to complete Americo, AIG, and Mutual of Omaha. That's it. Those are the only 3 they're going to submit through SuranceBay. If they still go on there and you don't walk them through this, and they click all of the buttons on there, it's going to get declined. Okay, only the three: Americo, AIG, and Mutual of Omaha. They then have to go back to 8 CMS and complete all the other carriers that we're going to help them get started with. Those carriers are American Amicable or AMAM, same thing. Foresters, Aetna, John Hancock, Great Western, and Transamerica. There are other carriers, but those are the ones they're going to start with. I get once somebody gets started, maybe they have a specialty case or something like that, so they need a CFG or something like that. We'll handle that case by case. But at that point, if you were counting, that's 10 carriers that somebody has to start with here at FFL to get started. They don't need any more carriers. Trust me, they don't. And if they have said carrier that they tried to get for that one-off deal and they don't write them in 6 months, they're going to shut you off. They'll just completely shut that carrier off and you'll start to receive email from that. So any other questions? Any questions about that process at all? Keep in mind, once your new teammate passes their license exam, you want to have them go through boot camp. But just as, if not more important, you need to let Amy and I know through Slack, John Smith has passed his exam. Here's his NPN number, and then we'll get him rocking and rolling, or she if it's Jane Smith.
I have a question, Corey.
Ma'am.
So when you were talking about prosperity, you was talking about the anti-money laundering course that they have to take. Even if they just taken it, they still have to take it under Prosperity's company. Okay. Great
question. Yep. They have to take it on there separately, and it's just videos. That's all it is. You don't even have to read it. They watch it, go through it. So they'll do the one for Prosperity, and then they'll do a separate one through WebCE if they don't have one if they're already licensed, maybe they just done it, or it's still within that year. Otherwise, WebCE is highly recommended.
Okay.
Coolio? Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Brady. I appreciate it. Amy, anything else before I close out? I didn't miss much today. Yes. All right. Leadership, anything that you guys have before we rock and roll?
I actually do have one thing.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, there are several people that haven't been on this call before. And it's not just like a one and done call. I would recommend being on it as much as you can if you are newer or recruiting.
Yeah. The more you hear it, it's so funny. I know that we have some people that are on here every week, and then they get their first recruit, and then it's like they've never seen any of the information before, which makes me laugh. Like it really, I'm like, you're on here every week, which is awesome. And then it's when those lights come on, it's like, okay, wait a minute, what am I supposed to do first? Or what else am I supposed to do? And all those kind of things. But we're here to support you, and that's why we do this call every single week. Mark, you look like you had something very important to say.
No, I'm just listening. I'm good.
Very good. All right. Anything else, guys? Well, I appreciate you guys' time and all of your efforts. Hey, just want to tell you guys congratulations on essentially 1.7 million last year. I know it might seem daunting to hear us say 5 million, but it's going to happen. We'll be 5 million plus with some of the things that are being figured out with leads. And then, I mean, just to have, I mean, really excluding Amy and I, we have 15 people on here that want to build organizations. It's pretty insane from a year ago when we got here, Tim, October, November of last year, or I guess the year before last or whatever. It's just pretty awesome to be where we're at right now. So very humbled and grateful to be a part of this team, this little small part that I'm blessed to be able to do. And let's kick some ass, take some names, guys. Let's finish the week strong. Appreciate you guys. Let's roll.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Good luck,
guys.
everybody.
Tim Dog, I'm about to call you.